Okay, hello everyone. Simran. I'm just here with someone really an interesting person. This is Simran. He is from Portland. He's a painter that works primarily in oils, whose practice exists at the intersection of observation and sensation. His work often captures local scenes, but it becomes especially compelling when created in the presence of live music, painting bands and performers in real time, translating sound into texture, rhythm, and color. Recently, he appeared at the Tecate Pal Norte in Monterrey, immersing himself in a wide spectrum of genres while creating live paintings during performance by artists such as 31 Minutos, Mijares, Silvestre La Naranja, and The Warning. His work echoes in a contemporary way the philosophy of Wassily Kandinsky, who believed painting could function as a visual extension of music and inner experience. I know it's something related to that. So, committed to accessibility, Simrat also offers his work directly through his website, creating a more intimate bridge between artist and audience. And I want to tell you something. I really appreciate that the beautiful work that you do is really easy to buy because sometimes people think that art it's something expensive. But well, before we start with this interview, I want to thank you for being here, Simra. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. This is quite a privilege, and your description was quite beautiful. I'm quite flattered.
Thank you so much. Simran, I was just checking the other day because I love artists, I mean painters and everything, and art, of course. And I was checking something related to Kandinsky because he believed that painting could hear the world. Do you feel you paint when you see when what you see or what you hear?
Uh, it's um, it's more like I paint what I feel, um, and so I mean, if you think of the left and right brain split, my analytical left brain is trying to paint the scene. So
Mm.
I'm trying to paint what I see. I'm trying to do all the formal elements, the composition, the colors, getting the figures right. With a large band or on a large stage, I'm trying to figure out how to fit it into a small canvas. In this case, the canvas um, was all record albums. So
Mhm.
they were the covers of record albums donated by Backlight Records. Um, and so my analytical brain is occupied by all of that. And that leaves room for the feelings to just come through. And they kind of they influence all of the brushwork, all of the motions that I make. And with music, it's especially because you're dancing explicitly, or you're dancing inside, and the feeling of the music comes right through. Um, and the more I concentrate on trying to get things right and trying to get the visuals right, the freer the emotions are to let it go through. If I oh, yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead.
if I try to paint the emotions directly, I don't usually succeed. But if I try to paint well and really try to paint what I'm looking at, then the emotions just are free to just go through.
I bet. Eh, well, I saw some of your videos or the videos that Tecate Pal Norte shared to everyone, and it was amazing to see. And I almost cried, let me tell you why. Because I'm a believer that someone, or when, let me put in the correct words in my mind. I'm a believer that art is able to capture everything and to join everyone. It doesn't, you don't need to know a language. You don't need to have a higher education. You just need to feel. And that is a beautiful moment when you see everyone around you, like you already said, they are dancing, and you feel that exactly the same, even though that probably some of the songs you didn't know, or the genres, or the music, or the artist, or whatever. But I would like to know if there is a moment in the performance where everything clicks and the painting begins to reveal itself.
There often is. Usually, what I will do is start with the figures and kind of figure out where they go. Um, I've spent a lot of time doing gesture drawing, which is the really quick capture
Mhm.
the position of a figure, and a lot of the emotion just comes from how the body parts are put together and all of that. It's like you don't even need to paint the face to get the feel of it. So I, kind of start off getting that in the right place and put a little bit of details of the people. But then when I put the background in, that kind of unifies it. And that's the point where it really starts to look like the something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that, and it was just really, really crazy and amazing, as I already said. But how did the opportunity to be part of Tecate Pal Norte come about?
It came about 5 years ago,
Okay.
in 21. Um, and local band from Monterrey, Noa Pino Paulo, was
Yes,
playing.
yes, 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 I know them.
Um, I had been doing their album covers. I was working with them to do album covers for their single releases. Um, and they told me that they were playing in the festival. Um, so I told them that if I could get an all access pass, I'd come down and paint. Um, so they talked with their manager from Apodaca Group, and they got me a pass. So I came down, and in 2021, I painted the festival. It was 2 days. I painted 17 pictures of I don't remember how many bands. It
Wow.
was a lot of work in 2 days. But I painted Noa Pino Paulo. I painted Girl Ultra and Kills Birds and so many bands that I loved. Um, and I really loved the traditional Mexican bands um, on the Pilot stage. Um, and Then I came back home, and just about a month or so ago, um, on one of the images I posted on Instagram, which was the stage before Girl Ultra um, uh, started to play. Um, the Tecate Pal Norte account wrote, "Hey, let's do it again." So I wrote back, "Oh, I'd love to. DM me if you want to do this." And they did. So I talked with Manu from the marketing group, and we made the arrangements. And so I came down, and this time they had the idea that they wanted to make videos.
Mhm.
Then that would be for their marketing effort. Um, and I'm totally into this. I think it's a great idea. Um, and so I came down. We walked around, find out where all the stages are. We looked at the schedules. We tried to figure out which bands to go to, which ones we could do, how much time we had, because we wanted to both get videos of the of painting them and pictures of the paintings, but also presenting them to the artists. Um, because one part about this project, and I call this the slow camera paparazzi project. Paparazzi, I take pictures of celebrities, but my camera's a little slow. And that's the joke. And usually people understand what I'm doing when they hear that. But it's a gift economy project. I always give them to the performers. I don't ever sell them. I just give them to the performers, almost always right at the show. And that's what I did in 2021. Um, I had a backstage pass, so I could run back right after the
Oh,
show and give it to them. A couple of them I couldn't because they went away too fast. Like the Foo Fighters, when I painted them, I couldn't give it to them.
mm,
So I still have that one. That one actually has a picture of the drummer Taylor um, in one of his last shows. So
yes.
I want to get that painting to his son somehow.
Okay.
Someone out there listening to this might be able to figure out how I can do
Yes, that's what
that.
I was gonna say.
So I
Yes.
still have that painting, and I want to get it to his son because that was a month before he died. Um,
Yes, I remember.
um, so we really also emphasized getting videos of giving these to the performers because that performers are often very thrilled when they see that,
Of
and
course.
that's like one of my jobs is making people happy.
Oh, I love that. And which of the artists felt the most emotional? Just the way that when you gave them this beautiful gift to present.
Oh well, let's see. Um, the Warning were very sweet. We gave it to them in the dressing room afterwards. Marky Ramone really liked it.
So you were
he
in his concert, right? It was amazing.
he gave me a signed pair of drumsticks. I'm
Oh,
like I gasped when that happened. I was like, oh. um, Los
the punk
Claxons
is
were,
here.
yeah, Los Claxons were really fabulous, and also a lot of the traditional Mexican singers on the Pilos stage it was really fun.
Okay. Oh, that was crazy. Yes, I saw that video and I was really excited because when he was with the press, some of the others went to have this interview with the press, and then when he finished his interview, he just walked away, and then the lady that was saying, "Okay, this is the last question," and whatever, and guiding everyone. She asked him if he could come back to take some pictures, but he's a punk guy, so he just looked at us and said, "Huh, goodbye." He didn't come back, and I was so happy to see that because it's part of his his nature, isn't it? It's
Yeah, yeah,
punk. So what he did to you, it's amazing. I mean, it's something different.
yeah. It was really sweet. He
You really
looked at it.
touched him.
He said, "Oh, I wish I could do this." So I said, "Well, I wish I could do that." So we're even.
In the drums, of course. If is was there a specific areas of performance in Tecate Pal Norte where you felt a deeper connection while you were painting?
Oh, let me look at my list. Because it was such a whirlwind. There were so many things happening
I
so
know.
fast. It's almost hard to remember. Um, uh, um, go through this. Um, the um, I think with Simple Plan,
Okay.
that was really fun because I really felt connected there. I felt really strong in the crowd. Um, I felt connected to the people really doing with that. The people next to me asked if they could buy a painting. I had finished a painting, a square painting on the album cover, and started one, and I just put one brush stroke down on a record on the vinyl, and they're like, "Hey, when you're done with that, can I buy it?" So I just took it off the easel and handed it to them with one brush stroke,
Uh,
which was
that's
we both laughed. But then they said they really did want it as a souvenir, and so I painted the singer in his crouching position, um, and uh, and then painted the flames around it, and then I gave it to them, and they tried to give me money. I said no, we said a beer. So I I sold the painting for 1 beer.
Perfect.
And they got me a beer there. It was quite tasty.
I hope it was a Mexican beer.
I believe it was Tecate.
Yes, it was a Mexican beer.
Yeah. Um,
That's so cool. Did you have
yeah,
time to take a picture of those beautiful paintings, or the person that was working with you? Because
I
it would be great to have like our exhibition about those paintings.
I believe I took painting pictures of most of them. A couple of them I missed. Um, Nino Viejo, I forgot to take a picture of, and they didn't have the people with me. And also, Ed Maverick came up for a song with them.
And Maverick, okay, okay.
And I painted Ed Maverick in 2021 and
Mhm.
gave it to him. And we got some great pictures together doing that. So I especially went because I had heard he was going to be a surprise guest. So I especially went to that show and did a little picture of Ed Maverick on the vinyl, and I got to give it to him at the end. That was really fun. Let's see, Siddhartha was.
Marta, yes, he's
I
a
love painting Siddhartha, and it was in the Acoustico stage, and I was in the photographer pit right underneath, sort of looking way up. Um, and their lighting was spectacular. Um, they would have backlight, they would have front light. So I did 2 paintings. I did one where it's the lights on them, you can see them, you see their polka dots on the shirt, and I made a sort of green background because there was green lights behind them with the fog coming up. So I did that, and then at one point everything's dark, and they flash the lights behind them, and it lit up a halo around its hair and all of that. So I painted just a black silhouette painting.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I would love to see that painting. I didn't see it in the videos.
Let's. I don't think that one got in the video, but I let's,
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
there's so I got to paint the lighting effects of that.
Wow. And how long does it take to you to make that painting or those paintings?
Um, well, none of them took any longer than 3 weeks.
Okay.
So
No, no, I'm talking about in the concert. So,
I know.
do
So
you have
each
to stay
one,
there 3 songs, 5 songs?
yeah, each one had to be done during the set.
Okay.
And some of them took longer than others.
Mm.
In Siddhartha's case, it was, I think, an hour or an hour and 15 minute set, and I did 2 paintings, so about a half an hour. For La Sorpresa, the bands were, I had 15 minutes.
Yes, Mijares, right?
Um, there were 2 surprises
Okay, okay.
each night, and I did 2 of them.
Oh,
I did 2 nights. I did 1 surprise on 2 nights, so I did 2 of the surprise paintings.
okay.
Um, and those were hard because the main stage is very tall, and I'm in the pit there, and I'm actually standing up on the shelf on the barrier fence so I can see up over the stage.
Oh, God,
Very
that's
hard to paint.
crazy. Oh,
And
God.
I had very little time, but I made it happen, and it turned out really well. Um, and some of them, some of the paintings I took a longer time on. The last 2 paintings, at the Pilos stage, De Paranda and the Cardenales de Nuevo León, I took about 45 minutes or an hour on those paintings.
Yeah,
So I
because they
did
are
them.
big bands, right?
Yeah, I did them. They were medium-sized bands. I only painted 4 or 5 people,
Okay.
but I just went slower because I had a lot of time because it was a long set, and I was very tired. It was the end of the night.
I bet. But you were close to this. I mean, the people were really enjoying the show. So probably, well, I think that you were enjoying also the show there because this is something really different. The music is really different from the music that I suppose you listen. And this goes to my next question. What kind of music do you like when you're painting?
Ah, so there's a couple of answers to that
Okay.
because there's the music I'm painting when I'm painting bands,
Okay.
and I like many different kinds of bands. My favorite genre, I think, is a folk punk genre, like jug band, where they play old timey instruments and they're singing they're singing darkness songs about darkness and difficulty in life, and it's kind of between bluegrass and metal. Um, and it's really fun about that. There's a local Portland band
Okay.
called Doombia.
Cumbia.
Doombia. They are a metal doom band that plays cumbia.
No, really, that's crazy.
Yes, there's also a band in Los Angeles um, called Metalachi.
Mariachi, like
They're
mariachi.
a metal mariachi
Oh,
band.
wow.
They are
That's awesome.
beautiful. They're brilliant. I love painting
Okay.
them. There's so much energy. Um, one of my bucket list genres was Icelandic metal.
Okay.
So when my family took a trip to Iceland, we took a Disney tour all around the island, and then I had a week in Reykjavik, and I went to the metal shows.
Mm.
Um, one of the bands was a high school band that won a national Battle of the Bands contest, and their prize was to get to play in this show. And
Oh,
so there was these high school kids playing this incredible metal music, and they had long hair, and when they headbanged, there was a 5 foot circle of hair. So all I had to do was paint this 5 foot golden circle. Yeah, it was amazing. uh,
that's
so then uh, when I'm at home in the studio, I will often listen to music,
okay.
um, and I listen to many different things. Um, One of the things I do is I get a box of records from the free store. I get them from music stores, and they're old records that they couldn't sell. Um, Maybe they're scratched, maybe they're Muzak, maybe they're good, maybe they're not. And while I'm painting, I'll go through those records and I'll listen to them on my record player and decide whether I keep the record for my collection, or I give them to or I put them in the one to be painted. So I
Oh,
have a lot of weird music from that.
from thrift stores, I suppose.
Uh, Almost like thrift stores, it's usually music stores,
Okay.
and it's records that they've gotten in that they couldn't sell. So
Mm.
they give them away for free.
Wow, perfect.
Yeah, and
I
some
love
of
that.
them are really interesting records that are a little scratched. Some of them are absolutely terrible. Uh, some of them are very interesting, like Larry Lausman's Lousy Logger Band is a band of people that worked in the timber industry and would play music after cutting trees down. So they made an album.
Wow. Well, Timbrad, you are based in Portland now, but I'm curious about your roots. Where were you born and what kind of environment shaped your earliest memories?
Oh, I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Mhm.
Um, I got bored with the city after a year and moved to Chicago. Um, and I was terrorizing the town of Chicago until they finally caught up to me, and I had to move to Michigan when I was 8. And
Okay,
so I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, um,
okay.
in a little suburb of that. And uh, I was very much a nerd. I was into math and science and rockets, and didn't draw at all. Um,
Really?
in fact, I started learning to draw um, a week after getting a master's degree in computer science.
No way.
So I was 25 when I started learning to draw.
Oh, I love that story. That's beautiful. So, do you remember the first moment you felt drawn to painting, not just as an activity, but as something meaningful?
Um, well, I had wanted for quite a while. I was studying Chinese painting. I really loved Chinese painting,
Oh,
and I was
incredible.
doing photography and trying to do photography like they had Chinese painting. Like they have the landscape paintings with the mountains that go back and back, and I was trying to do photography like that, and
Mhm.
I completely failed.
Really?
And I couldn't understand why, so I researched and I found out that the math of the perspective systems is different.
Mm.
The perspective system you get from a camera, the 1 point perspective, which is also, the Renaissance drawing perspective, is
Mhm.
different from how the eye sees.
Mm.
We as humans do not see that way. We don't just see one thing like that. Our eyes move around in little, they call them saccades. And every time we take a little picture and we put it into a model in our head and we build up that image and we make the size and position of things different based on how we see things psychologically, not through just strict math. With a camera, you get strict math. As a human, we have our feelings, we have our knowledge, we have semantics, we have the intensity of the moment going into that, and we actually see our mental model of what we've built up rather than the actual world.
Wow.
And so I spent a lot of time figuring this out and learning the different perspective systems and figuring out the math of this. And that's when I started wanting to learn to draw. I had to finish my degree before I could actually have time to do it. And then I dove really deep into that. After a few years, got into painting. And then I had a parallel career
Oh,
in software and in art. And for a long time, the engineering just paid a lot more.
I know. And were there any struggles or doubts early on that when you were trying to figure out if you're gonna continue doing this as an artist or continue in the other way where I mean, it was your career and all the time that you were learning this wonderful thing that you also love. How did you uh, make that decision? Because it's a big decision.
Um, well, it is a big decision, and it's I always thought, well, if only I could, make my living at my art, and but I wasn't selling very well. I was just making stuff that I liked to. But the software work I really loved. I really liked what I was doing. Like you're building these mental structures that are all ephemeral and non-physical, but they do things. And I really had a good time as a programmer. Um, and uh, being in software at that time in Silicon Valley meant I didn't really, I was well taken care of. So I didn't have to worry about making art that sells and making money for that. So I was freer on the art side. And it was nice to have to do them both at the same time. Um, and then in 2020, um, when I was doing album cover work with Noah Pino Paulo and Dijon and a few other people, that's when I retired from the software side and have just been doing the art. So I've been full-time artist for 5 years. Now, 6 years now? Oh my, yeah,
6 years, yes.
yeah.
If you met Pino Paulo like 5 years ago, it's because probably you start earlier, right?
Yeah, well, I met them. Let's see, it was um, just at the very beginning of COVID,
Oh,
um,
2020.
the 2020, the art director uh, um, for Dijon's new album at the time contacted me because he had seen some of the work I had done at Comic Cons.
Oh,
And so we decided to do some album cover work. And then Mao from No Pino Paulo um, contacted me because I was listed on the Dijon site. And that's how I started working with No Pino Paulo.
oh, that's really amazing, Simran. And well, before we go, because the time, it's just the clock counting, but if you could trace a line from your childhood to the work you're doing today, what elements have remained unchanged?
I think an intense curiosity.
Okay.
I just want to learn things and do things and figure out how this, how that. Um, and I think that's why I got into painting and why I've tried to learn this techniques and that techniques and those kind of things. I think that's kind of one of the strongest lines.
Well, I also, when you were sharing with us all this beautiful information, you shared something about the importance of draw, how
Hmm.
you learn to draw. And I want to focus a little bit before we go, because right now, and this is a special question because uh, as I told you, I love art and I appreciate, I really love when someone learn techniques and respect the old way, and not just because I don't want or I don't like the new ways, but sometimes people get confused. And I'm talking about the youngest people, that they don't know that before you create something, there are roots, or there are something, like they have to learn, they have to know how to start doing something by drawing, for example, to make a drawing, and not just put some painting and that's it, and they feel that it's art, or a, I don't know, a napkin, and they just believe it's art because they see it. So what is your vision about that? Or yes, I would like to know your opinion.
Ah, one of the things I one of the questions I ask about art, because there's aesthetic questions, there's how good you are at technique, there's what you do with color, there's how you feel with it, there's also concept, and a lot of people, as art has gone from modernism into postmodernism, a lot of the traditional techniques have been thrown away and then picked back up again. And, a lot of the times the traditional techniques were were tied in with patriarchy and misogyny. And, there was a whole lot of that in the art world. And so breaking techniques can also be a way of fighting against patriarchy and fighting against oppressive systems that put people in the way. That's what the Impressionists did explicitly. And you can follow the progression of that to rebelling against a number of the techniques. So doing techniques gives you the capacity to do, learning techniques gives you the capacity to express things and express things in yourself. And sometimes you have to throw them away to express them. But then the question I ask is, what does art do in the world? What is this piece going to do? How is it going to affect people? How is it going to do things? Some pieces, like some of the early abstract pieces, really got people angry because they're like, this isn't art. My kid could do this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like the point was to make people look at the world differently, because they're like, oh, this can be art, but it's not what I think is art.
Okay.
It's pissing me off. And that's a real effect that the art has done. And sometimes a really finely done traditional piece, you know, its effect in the world is just to say this artist is really technically skilled. And sometimes some pieces of art only do that. Some pieces of art shake up the world. Keith Haring's art was not technically very skilled, although he probably was, but he just did quick cartoon drawings. Except if you look at his effects on showing the world about the AIDS crisis and helping the world accept the LGBTQ people, he made incredible progress in the world without using super technical skills in the painting. I mean, he had a lot of he had paint handling skills, and he had, he really knew composition and all that. But it wasn't like the fine drawing skills. He did it with something else. So art is a lot more than just the techniques. It's also how, what you do with them, and it's how they're received in the world and what effect you have in the world.
Wow, I love that. And well, now that you are talking about Keith Haring, he made it very clear through his art when something was not right. And I really love the way that he used barking dogs, right? When something was
Yeah,
not good, or he was just, hey, look at this. This is
yeah.
not right. And,
Mm-hmm.
and something really wonderful about art is that doesn't leave you indifferent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, oh,
And there's one piece that I did when I did the Ramones piece. Our original plan was we were going to that me and Mano worked out. We were going to paint Los Claxons quickly, and halfway through leave to go paint Marky Ramone, because the times overlapped by this much, and there was a whole long distance from one stage to the other. But we forgot. And I kept painting all the way through. And then we went backstage and gave the paintings to Los Claxons, and they loved it. And it was really fabulous. And then we look, and there's 10 minutes left to get to Marky Ramone's stage, and it's a 10-minute walk. So I ran over there, and I'm like, I don't know if there's 2 minutes left in the set or 10 minutes, and I do a very fast painting, very quick. As they kept going on and playing a little more encores, I had time to refine it a little bit, and I cheated a little bit while waiting for him in the backstage, and gave it to him, and he just loved it. But
yes.
then someone commented on the video of that, who said, well, honestly, this painting is terrible. There's no detail or grace.
Oh, please.
And which is absolutely true. Technically, it was not a good painting,
But it was
but
hard.
it had the energy of it. And you don't paint a punk band like the Ramones with grace.
No. Well, thank you so much.
It was a punk painting.
Thank you so much for this beautiful interview.